Things just keep getting better. Greetings and welcome to SmartWatchTix.com. Got a really fascinating watch here, the BlitzWolf. Check out the name, the BW-HL6. No idea where they came up with that one, but this device does it all and then some. ECG testing, step count, SMA alerts. It's got NFC in it. It does everything that the Bearscom VEE watch that we recently reviewed does, plus a few more. And you're going to see all those characteristics and activities once we get the thing unboxed, opened, and ready to go. Now that's the module. It looks like an Apple Watch pretty much. A small rectangular thing with an ECG button on the side and a little twirly knob. And that's it. Microphone, speaker, sure, it does Bluetooth calling. What else does it do? Wow, a lot. It's a 1.85-inch AMOLED, and I say that loosely. I'm not really sure if it's AMOLED, but it's high contrast. Looks pretty darn good anyway. 3D curved screen. That's right. Can you see the reflection in the glass? It's curved on the edges, top and bottom edges. Heart rate, blood glucose monitoring it does, body temperature, blood pressure, blood oxygen, and more. And the more is what sets it off differently from the V. All those things were in the V as well, but this adds two more characteristics to it. We'll I'll give you that distinction here in a second. The BlitzWolf, Bluetooth 5.1 running with full touch operation. Languages, there's a few new languages on this one. We'll go through those. Here's the message push languages as well. You got Bluetooth calling and call reminder, all the standard stuff. It does ECG measurement live, and it can record one on the watch and transfer the entire chart to the phone later. You got heart rate variability in this one as well. These are the new ones, blood composition and body composition. You got blood glucose, temperature, the MET actually, testing under health. Sleep monitoring, ladies, your period tracking's available on this. Lots of exercise records, all these different applications in it. It's a full-fledged health smartwatch. It's claiming IP67 waterproof. I look at it, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't dunk it in water, but it's got a rating on it, not the higher IP68. It might be okay for, rain and stuff like that as long as you wipe it off. 1.85-inch AMOLED, supposedly 400 by 450 pixel, a 300 milliamp hour battery. You're getting standby time of 30 days, usage about 7 to 10 days, 2 to 3 hours, a little bit long on the charging. If you charge it regularly, you shouldn't see a problem with that, though. Band material, it's leather on this one. There is a silicone version, and the size and information is right there. Now, deeper in the box, we have a couple of things. The charging wire, and it's your standard 2-pin magnetic coupled, wants to come back on here, magnetic coupled connector, and it's decent strength. It'll hold the watch, which is always a fun test. So make sure you have that on when you're charging it at night. You can see the electrode plates here that need to make contact with your body while you make contact with the other connection right there. So you've got the cable, and then you got the overall manual in a couple of different languages here. We'll open this one up, come over to the English side, which is right here. Watch instructions. Now, like usual, I'm just going to hold it for you. If you want to freeze frame it and read it carefully, highly recommend that, especially for a very sophisticated device such as this. And I do want to make sure you're well aware that everything this does is for information purposes. It's not a calibrated medical device. A lot of the measurements could be inaccurate. I say that truly. So be careful. Just use it for guidance, but trust your medical professional to get the real serious, accurate readings you may need. This is BlitzWolf.com. You can scan that QR code to get more information. And it tethers using the HBand app, and that QR code is here. We also have links directly in the show notes, not only to download the app, but to pick up the unit itself at a good, deep, discounted price. Now, although it looks like it has 2 buttons, it really only has one. So you press a long press on that top button, it vibrates, and it opens up into one of the stock watch faces. There's quite a few on this one. I'm going to twirl the knob. Here's one where you can change the background and move the time around if you want to. And this is one of the downloadable faces. I love this one, that you can pick up directly from the app and transfer to the device. You can have one of these on at any time. You've got a really nice dressed, sophisticated looking watch face there. The twist your wrist to see the time is active. You've got another colorful one with some data on it and some animation going on. You've got these, and these buttons are active too, so it supports active buttons. When you're tethered to the watch, you'll get your temperature information as well when you're tethered to the phone with Bluetooth. Another one here, and so forth, and we're back over there. I'm going to leave it on that one because that's my fun one. Swipe down. Just like the VEE, you got the exact same thing. So please watch that review. I'm going to go in a lot deeper there and just surface level with you here. You got do not disturb, toggle on and off Bluetooth calling. This is your information, the BW-HL6 on the V. You'll see same kind of thing, just says VEE. And this is your settings. It's got health monitor, screen displays, switches. Languages have changed slightly. You have a few more Asian languages here, and I believe a few more European languages on here as well. Those are different. I compared them earlier, and so hopefully you saw your language on here as well. You can set date and time. The QR code for the app in your system just gives you basically power off and factory reset. I know I went really quick through it. Each of those are broken down. For example, you can get into switches, see all of your goals and things that you can turn on, your notifications you can turn on and off, all of these things. They have updated from the other firmware to include X instead of Twitter, but otherwise all of these are exactly the same. So that's what you get when you swipe down. When you come off to the right, you get a pull-out tab showing you calling, temperature, and your most recent used apps. When you swipe up, you get notifications sent from your phone when you set that up. And when you go to the left, now you get all these different screens. Here's your calling, where you can get the keypad and make a phone call, your contacts and call history. And it works really well. Bluetooth connectivity is great. Speakers right there. It's good and loud. Does Bluetooth music streaming on here as well. You'll see the demo of that on the V. Here's the activity for the day. It's just one page. It doesn't scroll up, but it shows you your step count. Now, this is per hour. I don't know how many of you walk 4,000 steps in an hour. Maybe some of you do. I'm good if I get 400 steps in an hour, so they're little. But there's my total so far for the day. Last night's sleep time. Again, it's only showing you your goal and your total. But in the app, of course, you see a lot more detail. Now you get into all the biometric stuff. Got to make sure the diodes are covered. It'll give me my heart rate after a while. This is the continuous heart rate reading from midnight to midnight, your high and your low, and that's all. You've got ECG. Now, I've got to put this on for that demo. Again, we've got lots of demos of this, but I'll show you later in the video, this one. Come over one more. You got blood glucose. Now, you see the separation there. That's when I took the watch off earlier, took a shower and stuff, and put it back on. So it doesn't record anything when it's off. But when you actually activate it now, you can get into all of these different informational parts. The blood glucose will be measured based on what you have chosen, whether you're fasting before a meal or after a meal. And it'll go through and it'll give you the data. And you can change those units, of course, in the app as well. Then you got blood pressure, systolic and diastolic, over 24 hours. Activate it, it'll do it. And then blood oxygen, this is the one we show you when it actually gets started, because if it uses the red diode, which this one does, you tend to get better accuracy. Red, infrared are used for blood oxygen computations. Again, we wait a little while, it'll give us a number. You're getting the time display on each of these screens as well. Now, here's where things differ from the V. You have blood composition and body composition, and then you go to body temperature and weather. In the V, you get these last two, but these are new. So blood composition is something that when you run this, and you've seen this on a couple of other watches we've done, the firmware portion for this testing does exist in other watches, but the form factor of the this particular watch and its layout user interface match up with the V, and this is new in that arena. You got uric acid, total cholesterol, triglycerides. Are you kidding me? Is usually what people say, and I say, yeah, I am. I honestly don't know that these are real. I don't know how you could get that kind of information without pricking your finger or having a blood draw at a lab, but it is giving you numbers. As long as you're willing to work with those numbers to see how they match your numbers from real legitimate testing, that's fine. Body composition uses this side thing again, and now we're to the point where we got to have those electrical plates all hooked up and working, this and the ECG. So I'm going to slap it on. By the way, you see it actually has BlitzWolf on the buckle itself, but one of the things is, I don't have it directly in a hole. You want to make sure that's going right. One of the things is that the band is backwards, or was backwards. When I took it out, it had the wrong thing here and here, so they're removable. I switched them around. I like it a whole lot better this way. That's how I wear all of my watches. So it looks a little upside down where it says the BlitzWolf on there. But that's just personal preference. It's just easier for me to buckle it up that way. Maybe it's like driving on the wrong or the other side of the road. In Europe, it's different than here in America. Maybe the bands are backwards too. BMI, body fat computations, muscle, subcutaneous fat, body water, skeletal muscle, all these measurements. Now, these have a higher likelihood of maybe being more accurate because a lot of this is based on your height, your weight, your gender, your age, as well as what it's reading, I guess, in water conductivity and such. But again, take these with a grain of salt as well. But you're getting body composition and blood composition, which are two new measurements. Body temperature, simple to do. You don't need to touch it, but you do need to wear it for a while before you actually take the measurement so it can settle down with the thermometer in there. Just takes a few seconds. You can set it for Fahrenheit or centigrade, Celsius, and it'll give you your reading for both skin temperature, the actual reading it's taking, and then your body temperature, which is interpolated from that reading. Okay? Weather, and it does not loop, so you press the button to come back to the home page. Now, there are a few more screens to show you, and we get into those by pushing the button here. We're scrolled all the way down. These are your different workouts, and you have running and walking and treadmill and all these different things you can do. There's no GPS in the module. There is NFC, not for payments, but for like unlocking doors and things, and there's a process you can set that up. But you got all these different methods of doing your workouts. And so those are fun. You got heart rate we saw, blood oxygen. Activity is your step count activity. And again, it doesn't show me any more details, just that amount of information. Last night's sleep, ECG. This is different. You didn't see this card when you went around. This is called stress. You can tap the button. It's going to measure, tell you your high and your low overall stress level, and that's based loosely on heart rate variability because this also does HRV as a separate reading too. So we're just giving it a moment, see what it'll come up with. There we go. It's telling me 12, normal. Not sure what that means, but it's got a mark a little bit at the current time, about 2 in the afternoon. It should be, I believe, giving you a continuous 24-hour reading, but it's not. Maybe one of my buttons isn't switched right, but it does give you that. You hit the play button, and it'll do it again and give you another reading. And that's falling under stress. Now, beyond that, you got the blood pressure we've seen, and temperature, blood glucose, body composition, and blood composition. Now, MET, this is that calculation, has to do with your workout levels. I'm getting 1.0. It's very low. I could take that reading again, and it shows you your continuous 24-hour. And here again is heart rate variability. You see this now on the app in detail, and this is while you're asleep, 0 to 7 in the morning. And heart rate variability comes into play when you're calculating stress and overall body health. And another thing called the Lorenz scatter diagram is derived from that. And you see that in the app. Radiation level. This is your ultraviolet radiation, not if you've been near Chernobyl or someplace. And it's going to take its measurement, and I believe it's doing that based on the weather conditions in your area, and it'll show you low or high. I don't believe there's an actual sensor in here. Breathing exercises, inhale, exhale, your phone, notifications, music, all those we've covered in the VEE. Cycle tracking, if you've got it set up in the app, ladies, it'll tell you where you are in your cycle. Remote camera, weather, you got a built-in stopwatch and timer. Those work all the same. Alarms, torch is, of course, a flashlight. You can toggle it on. It gets the brightest bright, and you can turn it off. Use that nicely when you're trying to open your door or see your way around in the dark. Find your phone, your voice assistant, Siri or Google, depending on which phone you're using. You got a little built-in calculator in this one. Couple of games, a bird game and 2048, and then your overall settings, which we already looked at. Now, let's play with the app. We're back with HBand. HBand 2 also seems to work with these watches. That's what the icon looks like from the Google Play Store. Link in the show notes to take you right over there. You install it. You pair it to your device, and you just let it connect. It'll connect Bluetooth for calling within the phone to the watch, which is a separate Bluetooth circuit. Then the connection for all of the data that's coming in right now as it updates and reads that data, including transferring over ECG charts and such. We're going to show you that. We will here in a second. Here's our step count for the day. And hours of sleep, just a big thing there. You can hit more, and these are all the different functions that you can run, so it's a quick way to get to them. Or you can come down and take a look. Sport, that's your step count, and it's broken down by every half hour to take a look at. I'm moving quickly because we've already done all this many times. Last night's sleep information, kind of blocky there, but it gives you the breakdown on it. Shows you when you were awake. I think this was all last night. And then I took a nap this afternoon before doing this review. And so it's calculating that as, from 10:50 p.m. to 1:40 p.m. Needs a little work on knowing when you're asleep. Heart rate now. This is fun. You get both heart rate and movement. So you can see how your heart rate is tracking against your actual workout or movement exercise, what zones you're in. Details in heart rate. You can have a high heart rate alert on this one if you want to as well. There's blood pressure. Here's ECG. Come in here. You can see previous testing. You have testing on the device that gets transferred over, and you can do testing from the app, which is what we get when we hit start testing there. And you can have both. So that's really, really cool. If you want to just, wear the watch and do a test remotely triggered from the phone, you can do that. If you're the one wearing it or someone else is, all you got to do is ask them to put their finger on the sensor. Everything else will happen automatically. But if you want to take the test directly, I'm going to come over here. I want to come back here to the current date and time, which is right here. And if I go in here to ECG and I take the test with it, now it's looking for my finger to be stationary. There we go. Now you notice a difference. Usually I'm doing this with a test that's been initiated from the phone, and you'll see the chart both on the watch and the phone. Well, I want to do it differently. I'm doing it remotely from the watch. So I could be out in the field, or I can be right next to the phone like you see right here. It's only going to show up on the screen on the watch because it's not been triggered from the phone. However, when it gets completed, and it will in just a second, I'm either going to run out of air or it's going to finish up, and I hope it does it before I do. Here we go. Boom. It just vibrated. It tells you your risk factors in here. And for some reason, I always end up with a high level of mental stress and fatigue. Today's better. A medium and no fatigue. I love that. Hit that and it'll do it all over again. You take another measurement. But it's in the queue here. So once I go back and I hold down and I refresh and it reads the data and it comes back over here to the ECG, this is going to be updated. It's 2:42 p.m. Now you see we've got two readings on here, and this is the one we just did. And so now if you wanted to see this whole reading after it's been recorded, you can. And if you want to see it live on here while it's with the watch, all you got to do is initiate the test directly from here in the ECG segment of the app itself. That's everything in the dashboard, right? We covered it all? No, we haven't. We're getting down there. Heart rate, blood pressure, and ECG. Then you got blood oxygen. This will show you sleep apnea dips in here if you have any, and haven't had any for a while. Blood oxygen, respiratory rate. This is the hypoxia and arousal, which is where you would turn this on if you want the device to vibrate if you end up holding your breath or doing a sleep apnea moment while you're asleep, and it triggers that because it's sensing that your blood oxygen is too low. That can give you that kind of a wake-up call, so to speak, and you'll see a dip down pretty low. See, the lowest here is 94. You might see it go down to 89, 90 at that moment. And if you do get the vibration, then hopefully you'll wake up, realize that you've been holding your breath or something, and can help you out in understanding what's going on. Here's that HRV chart. We actually saw that exact same thing on the watch. Here it is on the app. There's all of the data, and here it is represented in an XY scatter diagram, scatter plot called the Lorenz scatter diagram that gives you a pictorial look at how things are happening in your heart. Again, for reference only, this is not medically calibrated $35 watch like going to the hospital, right? But if you get this, mine's kind of reversed now. You want that comet kind of look with the tail down here. Mine seems to be a little higher. So let's see what it is, if there's one like that. There's a shuttle, a baton, maybe a grenade. Not quite, but then there's a fork. Anyway, any of these that you see, grenade seems to be the closest. I can tap it, and it says if you're getting this kind of a pattern, this might be what it is. I'll be darned. Common with patients with AFib, likely to occur with frequent palpations. You guys watch this channel every now and then? You know Mr. Tick's history? Yeah, not surprised that I've been thrown a grenade. But there you go. That's a representation. But this is kind of what you're looking for. And because of that, I want to show you yesterday. There, a little more grenade-like. Comet-like. And then the night before that. Well, that's all big and scattered the other direction. But you see, you can get different patterns each night. And that can give you some guidance on your health as well. Body temperature, pretty simple. Go in here. You've got your body temperature and your skin temperature. Those are all computed on the hour, and you got to be able to review it right there. Blood glucose, blood sugar we've looked at before. Body components. Now, this is what's new. You have uric acid and you have lipids, cholesterol, triglycerides, and so forth throughout the day. And there's quite a bit of variance going on in there. So worth taking a look at. You also have all the detailed information at any particular time you want, so you can really dive into what's going on if the data is valid. That's a big if. So make sure you check for yourself on whether or not the data makes sense to you. And body composition, again, is based on a lot of factors to get your body mass index, right? BMI, body fat and muscle, and so forth. This is tested on the app. This was tested on the device, just like the ECG. You can do it remotely and transfer the file over, or you can say start test right here, hit that button, put your finger on the side over here. doesn't matter what the screen's showing. It could be the watch face or whatever. It'll go through a circle test. It's not actually showing you your heart rate chart like you do get when you're doing the ECG, but it does bide the time and tell you how far along you are in the process. When it's completed, then it's going to give you the end results. Again, the watch will probably either be asleep, or if you have the twist your wrist on, it'll show you the current watch face that you're on. If it's a successful test, you can view it. And look at this. You got the whole body information breakdown at that moment, right to the second, and all of the information right here. And it's telling you whether you're healthy, low, normal, standard, and so forth. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. Even if the data is questionable in your mind, it opens up the possibility of thinking about things like your muscle mass and your skeletal mass and how are they related. And maybe a nutritionist or a doctor or a health practitioner can give you some guidance on that. So for about $35, $36, this watch can open a porthole on health that you may not be aware of. You can rearrange or turn these on and off at your leisure. That's all available in the app, as we've talked about before. Workouts. This is your GPS tracking that you can get with the device by using the GPS in your watch if you go out and do your activity there. Finally, mine. You can log in or you can come in as a guest. It'll show you some basic goals and unit settings and such, and you can get into the device itself. This is where you set up a lot of the stuff, so I encourage you to go in here and check it out. Raise your wrist to wake it up, pair the device, your dial settings. You have all the different dials. You just touch them here and it'll change over there, or you can go into the face gallery, and then this gives you a whole listing of all kinds of different faces that are available for this size and shape watch. You got analog, digital, combination ones, and they keep on going, loading from the server. Theme ones from different seasons. You got colorful ones that look like Apple Watch type. These are fun. They often show up on these watches where you got a body scan kind of a thing going on. So this is a nice addition to that. The dial market's available for this one. Blood glucose, blood pressure. You can put in all these private things. Like if you know your blood pressure is usually 130/90, you can set that and then use that as the baseline and see if your measured blood pressure is closer to what you typically are. You set your screen on time either here or in the device itself, 5 seconds to 60 seconds. Here's where you can set up your weather, your switches, your firmware updates, and so forth. Again, this has been talked about many, many times. Watch some of the other reviews that use the HBand or HBand 2 app, and that'll give you information in more detail than we've shown you in this quick review, right? Okay, so bottom line, what do we got here? We've got a fun little watch, the BlitzWolf, and it's in kind of an apple size and shape container of a watch. It emulates the pill button with an ECG activation button and body composition. You got the little turning knob in here that can change watch faces and such. And it does an immense amount of stuff. It is very similar to the Bearscom VEE, with the addition of a couple of things that we've shown you here and a few more languages. Bluetooth calling, didn't demo it today, but it's fine. It's nice and loud, as with the music streaming that you can do from the phone to the watch and play it right here on the watch. For about the $35 so, I think it's a real winner if you want to have something fun to play with and explore your health, for good or evil, for accurate or not, but just to have fun as a toy. Alrighty, that's it for today. This is where you can get it. Again, Banggood. We love these guys. They're always sending us fun and playful stuff. And again, check the show notes for a discount coupon for you. And we appreciate it if you use the link in here, because that helps us keep this channel going, because that's how I get more watches to show you. And we're doing a pretty good job so far in 2024. By the way, notice anything different about Mr. Tick's hands? Yep, there is something different there, and it is coming up because it's getting tested right now, along with all the others, so you can find the best smart ring for your fingers. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.